Yay, we're live. Awesome. Welcome to the first live broadcast of the Wellness Real Estate Podcast. And today I have Robert Frias from Kelliwell here. He's going to be sharing with us the best way to get a restful night's sleep. And Robert started his career in mortgage lending and real estate until 2017 when he went to work for Delos Living, the founder of the Well Building Standard and the International Well Building Institute. Their mission is to improve human health indoors, in hotels, apartments, offices, schools, and homes. So he worked on various deals in the Irvine Company, Montage, Pendery Hotels, luxury developers, and investment groups. And in 2020, he left Delos Living to work with Kelliwell Wellness Systems, the partner and senior vice president of sales and business development. Kelliwell provides solutions to creating healthy indoor environments that are designed to improve human health. Services include air and water purification, healthy circadian light, deep sleep rooms, and electromagnetic frequency neutralization. Kelliwell assesses a home or indoor environment for toxins in the air and water. Experts prepare recommendations to improve the health and wellness of the indoor environment, usually passively and with little effort. So I'm so excited that he's here today because we're going to be talking about deep sleep rooms and how you can turn your bedroom into a sleep room. And you might be thinking, isn't it already a sleep room? It's where I sleep. But no, there are several elements that support deep sleep. And I think he has 8 of them. And I bet your bedroom only has a couple of them. So to promote deeper sleep, rejuvenating sleep, and have more productive days, you're going to want to stay tuned. So welcome, Robert. Thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So we're going to be talking about the sleep room. But before we dive in, since this is the Wellness Real Estate Podcast, we're talking to agents. So, why should real estate agents care about a deep sleep room?
Well, let me start with this. The deep sleep room really kind of goes with the whole concept of a healthy home. So what we like to first do is to create a healthy indoor environment, one that promotes the health and well-being of the inhabitants of your home. So we're seeing this trend grow quite a bit in the past couple of years, and especially with this unfortunate situation we've had here in the past year or two, people are really starting to recognize how important health is in our indoor environments for our own immunity, for our resiliency, for longevity, living a better life. So the second part to that is us taking a look at not only spending close to 90% of our time or more, arguably, in our homes and our offices, but we're seeing this big trend where we're spending more time working out of the home, kind of like you and I are right now. But the second part of that is we have to take a look at how often we sleep. We sleep about a third of our life. So 7 to 8 hours a night equals out to be about 1/3 of our entire life. So over the past several years, a lot of physicists, scientists, researchers have taken a look at the impact of good sleep. So at Kelliwell, we took a real deep look at that as well. And aside from trying to get that full 7-8 hours of sleep, we look at the productiveness of our sleep. We look at the benefits of getting good sleep. So a few of the first things that kind of come to mind is when we get 7 hours of good sleep, and you've probably experienced this also, Sheila, we perform better during the day. Our cognitive function, our focus, our energy levels are at a much higher rate. Typically, if you don't get good sleep, you wake up in the morning and you have 3, 4, 5 cups of coffee. You're sluggish. You have that afternoon burnout. And people wonder why over all these years. And so we really dug in and looked at the science and looked at the research and tried to figure out how can we get more productive sleep? How can we perform better during the day? How can we rejuvenate our cellular structure when we're going through that deep REM sleep at night? And how do we live longer? How can we figure out ways to reduce the amount of sicknesses and perform at just a much better level? So you mentioned 8 kind of categories of ways to improve your sleep. So we looked at those major categories, and there's actually a lot more to it. But we've kind of focused on those areas. So I can run through those with you, and we can kind of talk about them and give me some input. But the first area that we look at is a lot of people have problems sleeping and breathing. So the first thing we try to do in the deep sleep room is to create an atmosphere that's free of all the contaminants and toxins that are in the air. So air purification. And if you choose to do so, there's also air sensor devices that can go into your room to determine what those pollutants are. And it could be anything from danders from your pets to dust, dirt, chemicals, off-gassing your furniture, your bedding, all sorts of things that get into your house and into your bedroom and are trapped. So the first thing that we look at is we look at the room and figure out what pollutants are in your room. And then we put in the air purification systems that will remediate all of those toxins that are in your room. So you wake up feeling fresh, feeling more of a sense of clarity. You've been able to breathe well over the night. Your respiratory system feels good. You feel well rested. So that's really kind of the first area that we look at.
It's so important too. I mean, air purification, just because of like the sicknesses and COVID and everything. I think more people are paying attention to air quality now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great point. A year and a half ago when this first came out, we were talking a lot about airborne pathogens and the viruses and things of that sort. That's something we really don't even have to mention anymore, because I think people realize that's on the top of the list. That's, first of mind when we talk about clear air. And the air purification systems, the way they work is they don't zap those pathogens. What they do is they take the air in and they trap any type of airborne pathogens in that filtration system. Number of different vendors that we use top tier, best in class vendors. And what typically happens is everything that's toxic comes into those air filtration systems and it gets trapped and it dies off.
And it's not floating around then in for you to rebreathe.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's important. Most of our deep sleep rooms are filtered out 2, 3, 4 times per hour. So you can imagine over a good 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your room's going to feel pretty crisp in the morning, and you're going to wake up without having any sniffles or stuffy noses or feeling like you didn't get a good night's sleep from your breathing aspect, at least.
Right. Okay. So then what's next?
So next, we always tell our clients to have proper hydration before you go to sleep. Your body needs to hydrate with good water to remove the toxins and to help with hydration during the night. So one of the areas that we get dehydrated is our brain and our lungs. Our lungs have the capacity of holding 83% of water. Our brains are closer to 80% water. So during the course of the night, when we're not drinking, we go 8, 10, 12 hours, depending on the last time that we hydrated, without water. So it's very important to have water. We use bottled water that we can use over and over, or steel canteens that we can use, but we fill it with purified water. So in the house, it's important to have full water filtration. So all the water that's coming into your house is filtered from the contaminants and chemicals and things of that sort. But it's also a great idea to have drinking water, a secondary filtration system where you can pour drinking water and put it into your canteens, your glass bottles, things of that sort. So you can put it on your nightstand and you can hydrate right before you go to sleep. Or even if you wake up in the middle of the night, you want to have water there to be able to hydrate yourself for the remainder of the night. So you get a better performance of sleep. You flush out the toxins during the night when it's the most important. So it's really good to be hydrated with good water. And that's probably the second most important aspects of your sleep.
Yeah, that's one of those things I probably need to try, because I feel like I can go a long time without drinking water and I probably am dehydrated. But I guess I always think that I'm going to have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night if I drink right before bed, but I'll try that and see if it helps me sleep better, just drinking purified water before bed.
Yep. And we'll talk. So that's a good segue into lighting, because a lot of people do have to get up and go to the restroom in the middle of the night. And we want to make sure that we don't wake up to bright lights, because the bright blue light is going to tell our bodies, hey, it's daytime. It's time to start to have a response from our serotonin or cortisol. It's time to wake up, and then people have a tough time going back to sleep. So what we're advocates of is having lights that are tunable. In the middle of the night, you can have a track that goes to your restroom, It's automatically set by you walking by in that pathway, and it can go to some of the off colors, the ambers, the reds, the tones that are going to hit our optic nerve in our eye and say, it's not daytime, it's still evening. Therefore, we need to continue with the production of melatonin. And you go to the restroom and you come back and you go to sleep, and those track lights go off, and they're pointed down at your feet. So they're not hitting your eyes directly, but they're allowing you to go to sleep. So moving more into the lighting aspect, circadian light, which is a relatively new type of light. And this type of light makes a lot of sense. So when we look at light and human existence, we look at hundreds and thousands, if not millions of years on Earth, living off the natural cycle of the sun. And that regulated our hormones to give us energy and focus during the day. And then as the sun went down at night, it helped us to prepare for sleep, more deep sleep. And ultimately in darkness is when we get the best sleep and the most productive and rejuvenating sleep at night. So about 4 years ago, some scientists came out with a new type of light called circadian light, and they won a Nobel Prize in science and research. And so we're starting to experiment with this new light that simulates natural sunlight. So in the morning, the light starts to illuminate like sunrise. And during the course of the day, it becomes brighter with a white light, which we call blue light. And that blue light helps us to become more focused and more alert, higher acuity, higher cognitive function. At night, as the sun starts to drop and dip, those tones change. We look at the sunsets that we have all across, where I live here in Newport Beach, but all across the nation and the world. And we start to see those amber tones, those reddish tones at sunset. Well, that starts to elicit the response of our melatonin that helps us to prepare for sleep when we can rejuvenate at its best. And so we have a great cycle of simulating natural sunlight that regulates our hormones. And if you think about it, manufactured light's really only been around for about 120, 130 years. And we've seen some decent light, and we've seen some really poor light over the years. So we're really in our infancy stages of manufactured light. And for the future, all we're seeing is just improvements with all this new knowledge and research that we're seeing. So lighting is very important to us as well.
Yeah, well, and I think with all of this technology that we've had, people are now seeing problems with everybody looking at their iPhones late at night, staying up too late, not able to sleep. And it's because you're looking at the blue light from the TV or from the phone before bed. Yeah, but so what I'm hearing,
you're absolutely right. Yep.
There's a new light fixture that has the capability of changing the tone of the color, because right now I thought that the light fixture, you'd have to set it to a certain color and it's like that all the time. So what I'm hearing from you is that you have a different type of light fixture that changes throughout the day. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's several different types. There's lights that go into bulbs, there's lights that go into sconces, and there's lights that go into the uplighting that is in your room. So what that light does is over a period of time, it will change in the color, the lux, and temperature to simulate the natural sunlight. So it does it on its own. And you can program different scenarios as well. So it's really great lighting.
Yeah, that's probably, that's great. I think that if it's, when you walk into a room and it's like that fluorescent light that's so bad for you and it just feels off. But I imagine that if you had it set to the right, like the sunlight, that it would just feel natural and warm and nice.
Exactly. And like I said before, it makes perfect sense. Hundreds of thousands of years, our bodies have really been ingrained to have that type of light. It's been passed on through our DNA for dozens and dozens of centuries, and as far back as we can think. And having the manufactured light just for really a couple of our generations, we have a long way to go, but we're getting there. We're getting closer.
Yeah. Okay, so we got air purification, proper hydration and water filtration, and the lighting.
Air, water, lighting. So a couple other aspects that help to improve your sleep are going to be thermal conditions. The human body is able to go through a rejuvenation process and a deeper and faster sleep when the thermal conditions come down by 3, 4, 5 degrees. And this is an area that you really kind of have to test out. For some people, it's only a couple of degrees. For most people, the science and research that I found, it's about 5 degrees less. And we find that the optimal temperature for sleeping is anywhere from 60 to 65 degrees. And when you wake up over a peaceful 30 to 45 minute time frame in the morning, the heat in the room starts to go back to normal 70, 72 degrees, slowly increasing in temperature, getting your body back to becoming fully awake, functioning at the daytime levels, but slowly over a period of time. So what we have found, the great part about sleeping at a lower temperature, and this can be controlled through setting up your environment through your smart home technologies, is you get to sleep quicker. So you get more productive and longer sleep. And that's really important. And then when you wake up peacefully, slowly starting to warm your room up.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds delightful. I know for sure we always have to have the either the air come on or the heat go down, or we have a fan in the room just because we need some circulation. Otherwise we can't sleep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then next to that is acoustic conditions. So when we go to sleep at night, it's important not to be listening to loud music. I know a lot of people have televisions in their bedroom, but really once we're in the bedroom, it's time for us to start preparing for sleep, to start shutting down. The one thing I forgot about the lighting aspect is the optimal conditions that you'd like to have would be complete darkness in your room. So blackout shades, either automatic or just having shades that you could pull and try to create the darkest environment possible. We have optic nerves in our eyes that can detect light. If it's coming from an outside street light, or maybe you have something glowing in the room, it's best to have the darkest condition for sleep as possible. So
I love sleeping in pitch black.
You feel completely peaceful.
Yeah.
But getting back to acoustics, when we go to sleep at night, it's nice to have some sort of noises that make us feel comfortable. We always tell our clients, if you're into doing yoga or meditation, do things to try to clear your mind. So when you do actually fall asleep, you don't have dreams. You're not thinking about your woes from the day, any stress, things of that sort that might have happened during the course of the week. You want to sleep as peaceful as you can. So anything you can do to clear your mind, if it's soothing music, if it's meditation, yoga, stretching, taking a warm shower, whatever it is, try to put yourself in the perfect environment so you can go to sleep and get that great sleep. But as far as acoustics, you can program your acoustics in your room to have very peaceful noises. Maybe it's a stream. Maybe you live by the beach and you like the sound of waves crashing at night. Some people like listening to white noise. Whatever puts you at peace, it's nice to have acoustics that can help you fall asleep comfortably. And the same thing in the morning. Remember when we were growing up, we would have the alarm clocks that would be blaring in the morning. And people would hit them, and you wake up in this environment that wasn't peaceful. So research has found that today, the more peaceful of an environment you can wake up in that's not shocking to your system, the better it is for you. So waking up in the morning, maybe to birds chirping or stream or the sound of wind, or again, waves, things of that sort, things that are peaceful to you that you can program into your smart home systems, or just your simple acoustic system that you might have right next to your bed. Just ways to make things more peaceful for you. So you wake up, you're happy, you're not stressed, and you're not shocked into being woken.
I agree with that. I've had an app recently that wakes me up with sounds like that. And it doesn't even have to be very loud. It's like so quiet, and it just gradually, you hear the birds chirping or whatever, and you just kind of hear it and you wake up. I don't know. It's so nice. It's so much nicer than that.
Exactly.
Waking you up. Exactly. And, the other thing I was going to say about falling asleep to sound, and I think the reason why it works is because you can focus on a sound rather than focusing on all the thoughts in your head, right? So it's kind of like a lot of times people just have racing thoughts and they can't stop thinking about solving a problem or whatever happened during the day. So if you can just focus on whatever white noise it is, or focus on, that's why people say count sheep or just something, because it's so boring and it's just giving your mind something else to focus on instead of those problems. Then you can fall asleep.
Right. The clear mind you can have, putting those issues, those problems that you need to solve to the next day when you're more focused and more alert is a much better alternative to having a tough time sleeping at night.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the other areas I wanted to talk about is the product. We're researching some of these really cool new beds that actually monitor your sleep and see what your performance level is based on your temperature, a number of different things that the bed will monitor and help you to perform at a higher, more productive level of sleep. So those are in the works. We're seeing a lot of those right now. We've spoken to a few companies that we're going to be testing out some of their product. But just getting back to the beds themselves, the bedding, the products, the paints, the natural paints and things of that sort that don't have off-gassing, no VOCs in the paint. Natural product for your beddings. If you can look at beds that have very low VOCs or none whatsoever, there's a lot of the new beds that are made out of natural product that are good for us. And we're sleeping right there next to our bed on our pillows. We want to make sure we're not inhaling any off gases or chemicals or things of that sort that could get into our respiratory system and wreak havoc. So we look at the product. Furniture in your room. We have some design partners that work with us that help to vet out some of the best furniture in terms of if there's carpets, if there's flooring. We talk to the family. We find out what type of issues they have, allergies, asthmas, things of that sort, and try to curate the best products that will work in a room with the most effectiveness for clearing the air and not allowing them to have any of the chemicals or VOCs or off gases that would be in the bedroom.
How did the mattresses give you this information? And what's the best type of mattress to be on to have a restful sleep?
So we're talking to several companies right now, and we've had some great meetings over the past few weeks, and we're going to start testing out some of these products. But what we've heard from the manufacturers through artificial intelligence, the beds actually monitor your sleeping pattern, and it learns your sleeping pattern and what temperatures work best for you, slight movement, things of that sort. The beds themselves are able to be cooled. You put water into a couple of the different types of beds, and it really monitors how well you sleep, and it learns over a period of time your optimal conditions. So that's really moving into the next level.
Yes,
cool.
It is the next level, but it also brings a question about the EMF, because we have so many things out there that are, the frequencies that are for wireless that are measuring everything. And is there a point to where we have too much and that's not good for us?
Absolutely. That's a great point. That's really kind of the next area that we look at is the electromagnetic frequencies, the unnatural, invisible stressors that we've been faced with over the past 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And those come from your routers, your wireless technologies, your 5G networks, dirty electricity, solar electricity that comes in the house that's not harnessed 100% properly. Those things get into our home, they get into our bedroom, and they're extremely important to monitor and to take a look, how do we neutralize these EMFs and 5G networks and things of that sort. So that's a great point. I have a few products here that I wanted to share with you. One of our vendors creates a product that harmonizes. You actually plug this right in a bedroom, called the EMF harmonizer. And what it does is it creates an area that's a sanctuary that deters the EMFs within a certain area. So it creates kind of a safe zone for you.
Oh.
And these harmonizers are available for the entire home. You can put them out by your smart meters, certain areas within the home, and they work wonderfully in creating a harmonious environment, working with technology, because we know that the technology is going to do nothing but dive deeper and deeper into ways that can help us to do our tasks quicker and easier and more automated. So technology is here to stay. What we can do is we know that we can create a harmonious environment where we're still protecting those that are in the sleeping environment, those that are in your kitchen, your offices, your kids' rooms, where technology is still available, but we can work around it so we don't have those effects. I've got another bag here that does really well for gyms, and this is an EMF rock bag. It's from EMF Rocks, one of our partners, and this repels EMFs. And you can place this under your bed. You can put it under your desk, certain areas within the house. And what this does is it will repel the effects of the EMFs. So this is an area that's not really talked about a whole lot, that we're really diving into and taking a look at, because we know what's going on when you go to sleep. There are routers that are running. If you take a look at your phone for wireless networks, you'll see the neighbors, you'll see the printer, you'll see all kinds of wireless networks that pop up on your phone. Sometimes there's 10, 15, 20 of them. And so what that means is that we are constantly being hit by these invisible stressors. They go right through our body. They disrupt the normal frequency of our human body. So if anybody's familiar with the Schumann resonance, a physicist by the name of Winfried Schumann had done research and found that the Earth resonates at about 8.73 hertz. And over time, we found out that the human body resonates at about the same hertz. So we work harmoniously with the frequency of the Earth. But these unnatural frequencies that we're seeing, especially 5G networks, there's not any major conclusive studies yet that have been able to tell us what the effects are. If you do a Google search for 5G networks, you'll see all kinds of scientists, researchers that will tell us that it's not good, but we're not at that point yet where we've seen major effects to see what the potential effects could be. A lot of people point to cancer and sicknesses and weaknesses and things of that sort. So we're still monitoring it and researching it, and we're doing everything on our end that we can do to deter from those effects.
Right. Well, one thing is you could maybe turn your phone off and not have it right by your head. And what you mentioned, dirty electricity. Idea. What is dirty electricity?
So dirty electricity is the electricity. So harnessing electricity, when it travels, we lose a lot of the electricity through transportation. When it gets into the house, if you have outlets maybe right behind your bed and you have things that are plugged in, there's electricity that comes that's actually released into the bedroom, and they call it dirty electricity because it's not harnessed well.
Okay.
So anything we can do on the build side, to take a look at the electricity where certain outlets are and things of that sort. We don't want them directly right behind the bed where we're sleeping. The same thing with routers. You can have routers set like you're talking about your phone, maybe setting it off at a certain time or putting it in another room. It's a great idea to have your router set to go off at certain times at night as well. And I know it's hard for people. I want to be, have access to my phone. I want to have the best access at 1 or 2 in the morning in case there's an emergency. Well, maybe you could place your phone in another room, in an area that neutralizes those effects. And the same thing with your router. That's not too much to ask.
Here's the thing is I think that if you are young and you have a really strong immune system and you never get sick or anything, then maybe you don't even have to worry about this stuff. But if you're someone who has a weakened immune system and you're struggling with chronic conditions, all of these things that are constantly hitting your body or hitting your immune system is just, it's just could be the last, one little thing could be the last straw, right? So it's like, if you can take these little baby steps to improve your environment, you never know. I mean, it could really be the thing that helps you boost your immune system so that you can heal from some of these other chronic conditions that you might have.
And that's the most important thing. Get good, productive sleep. Have a clear mind. Give your body the chance to rejuvenate and perform at the optimal levels the next day. And we get a lot of our research from reading on, the International Well-Being Institute, the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, the Harvard School of Sleep Medicine. And we try to look at their best practices. We take a look at their research. There's several others. Those are just some of the leading research facilities that we look at. But they're all very important. And we take a look at all these different aspects. And when you put everything together, you can imagine all the areas we went over today.
Yeah.
You can create, we call it a quantum wellness sleeping environment. And with that, it's almost impossible not to get good productive sleep, good rejuvenating sleep. It's almost impossible not to be able to clear your body and eliminate over the course of the night. So in the morning, you've processed your food, you've drank your water to help get rid of the toxins. So in the morning, we can eliminate all that. And then we can go and focus well in the morning, waking up harmoniously and go out there and attack each and every one of our days.
Yeah, it probably doesn't take too long for you to have a few restful night's sleep to notice the benefits of it.
Yeah, I think you notice almost immediately. And there's a lot of other factors that are involved too. Factors that aren't particularly in the bedroom, but you want to make sure that you're getting your vitamin D during the course of the day. Your fitness training, whatever levels you're at. You want to make sure that you're getting the proper nutrition, all the things that come together to create a healthier environment for you indoors, physically, and then we can create these wonderful deep sleep wellness rooms to help with your clarity and focus and rejuvenation as well.
I love it. I know that when we spoke earlier, you said that you guys were putting some of these in some hotels or apartments. Is that what you're working on?
Yeah, so absolutely. So we're working on, our major area right now is senior living. As you can imagine, they need this the most. Multifamily, we're working with several multifamily developers. Hospitality, we're working on some great hotel projects. And we're working on luxury homes, and we're working with your standard home as well. So the product, when we used to work at the former company we were at, was a little bit higher price. It was more for the luxury home builder. Today, the price has come down. We can do an apartment room, a 2-bedroom room, for around $1,800 with air, water, and lighting products that create a healthy indoor environment.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's it? $1,800?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep. And
that means it's affordable for everyone. That's so awesome.
It is now affordable. We're coming out with some products that are going to be absolutely fantastic. Wellness in a box. We're going to be, talking with major distributors. We want to make this available. Health is the new wealth, and it should be available for everyone. So whether you're a luxury home builder, the cost for a full home is $3 a square foot approximately, depending on the home, where it's located, how many floors, so on and so forth. Apartments and hotels, multifamily, just like I said, $1,800. In some cases, in quantity, it's less. And what we think, what we're predicting is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, this is going to be standard build practice. It's going to be like popcorn ceilings of the past, when they used to build a lot of houses like that. And then they got rid of it within a matter of 5, 8, 10 years. Although I went to a Christmas party at my aunt's house the other night, and she still has her popcorn ceiling, and I was trying to get on her for that. But the new build practice will be these well build standards. And for those that don't know about the well build standard, you should really look it up. It's wellcertified.com. And if you've heard of LEED and the U.S. Green Building Council, LEED is primarily about our environment. How do we increase the sustainability? How do we improve natural resources? How do we improve our environment? Which is a great concept. The well build standard is actually administered by the U.S. Green Building Council. So any of the certifications and the processes to become a well certified apartment, commercial building, luxury home, what have you, are still administered by the U.S. Green Building Council and LEED. But it's all about human sustainability. What can we do on our indoor environments that improve human health? And so it's a really great cause. It's a great new standard that we're excited about. And you can see how passionate I am about this. I've been doing this now for just over 4 years. I know an awful lot. We've assembled an amazing team. What I don't know here today, I can get the answer in generally 24 hours or less from one of my team members, who is an expert in each and every area that we're talking about with health and wellness indoors.
I love it. Well, and then I also know that, when we coming back around to agents and real estate agents, I'm trying to help agents see that talking about wellness and real estate is a way to talk about homes, but build a deeper connection with your clients, because you're helping them, have a healthier home. And it's something that no one else is really talking about. And wellness real estate is now a $275 billion industry. So it's grown, and it doubled since 2017. So, it's here to stay. It's only going to be growing
over the
more.
last year. Yeah, it grew.
Yeah,
absolutely. You tell people, here's the options. We now know that our indoor environments were, and the EPA told us this, 2 to 5 times, in some cases up to 10 times worse than our outdoor conditions. And so as people are becoming more and more educated on that, we're taking a look at ways to make sure that we improve our indoor environments. We're now aware of that, and it's going to do nothing but grow. If you ask somebody today, would you like to live in your standard home environment with the EPA telling us it's 10 times dirtier? Oh, can you hear me? Did I pop out for a second?
I think we popped out for a second, but I think we're back.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So go on,
so I was saying, if you ask somebody, would you like to live knowing that the EPA tells us that your home is probably 5 times dirtier than the outdoor conditions, or we can improve it for a very minimal amount, and you get to live in a nice, healthy, clean environment with the potential for better sleep performance, better daytime focus, acuity, and energy, and less sicknesses, more resiliency, and a stronger immune system. Which are you going to choose? And when the costs are as low as what I'm talking about, it's really a no-brainer. Health versus, maybe saving a couple dollars a day. Absolutely.
Well, and think about, especially in
we're excited
California,
about
where we've had the fires, that makes the air quality outside terrible. And so I'd imagine that if you have some of these air filtration systems in your home, you're going to be much healthier than if you're breathing all that smoke.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, especially over the past year or two. We've seen quite a few wildfires, and some are as far as San Francisco, but the air traveled tremendous distance down south to affect Los Angeles, Orange counties, and the San Diego fires. All over the place were affected by wildfire smoke and pollution. So pollution is responsible, indoor and outdoor pollution is responsible for approximately 10 to 12 million deaths per year. It's number 3 or number 4 on mortality rates. And even though the pollution factor has gotten a little bit better with our car situation since the 70s, we still have pollution from all sorts of different things. And that's another great topic, because those pollutants get trapped in our houses as well. You ever come home, like in the past year or so, when you did have wildfires, and you smell that smoke and you see the soot on your car and even trapped in your house on the countertops and things of that sort? It was horrible. And our systems in our clients' home, they would call us and they would say, "Hey, Robert, Jay, Tyler, is your sensor working properly? It's smoky outside. There's a wildfire, wildfires going on, but our air meter says that the quality is 98. And a typical home, decent air is going to be 80 to 90 without an air filtration system. During wildfire smoke, times of wildfire smoke, we see people's homes in the high 60s and 70s, poor quality. But our clients that do have air filtration systems and air sensors to monitor the condition of the indoor environment, they're calling us saying, "Hey, is your sensor broken? We've got a 98 or a 99 quality out of 100. And they're just absolutely stoked and pleased at the air quality that they have. And all you have to do is close the windows and you've got great air inside.
And breathe deep. That's awesome.
So kind of getting back to your question about real estate agents.
Yeah.
I wanted to address that real quick. So we work with real estate agents. We're working with some of the bigger firms, and we're working with some individuals that have really recognized that having these passive indoor health improvements can help to differentiate their listing or the development if they're working with a developer. A few of the developers and real estate groups that we've worked with, we've helped to give them advice on positioning the cost of the listing price of the property. And we've seen anywhere from a 5 to 15% increase over the comps of other properties that are in those neighborhoods, Beverly Hills, Orange County, Corona Del Mar. We're working with some agents that are working with developers now. So we'll see in the next 12, 16, 18 months when these properties go to market, we'll see where their price is positioned. But the big factor is, here's a way to differentiate your listing. Offer somebody a healthy home, a home that's going to improve the health of their entire family. Show that you're an expert in your industry. You've gone out and done some research on wellness real estate. This is a big trend that's going to be standard in 3 to 5 years. Why not be a thought leader today and show your clients, hey, this is what I do for my clients, not only to list your home, but perhaps to find a wellness home for a client that you might have. So differentiating, showing that you're a leader in the industry, and really the ROI. And I could give you a number of properties that we've worked with that have gotten substantial prices for their offerings.
That's wonderful. I mean, and you said that you were in the real estate industry, so you know what it's like. I mean, there's a lot of agents, it's saturated. You're really trying to stand out. But if you're saying the same thing that everybody else is saying, like, help me find your dream home, it's like, what value?
The market's been great the past year. If the market does slow down a little bit, I think agents and sellers are really going to be looking for things that differentiate. It might not be the, hey, let's list a house in a great area and it sells in a matter of a couple of weeks anymore. It might slow down a little bit. It might be more of, hey, here's a great house that has wellness intentions. You move in and passively your health, at least the design, is to improve your health. And then there's going to be some protocols and some processes and things that you can do that will help with, and we'll have things that are attached to our apps and things of that sort, as far as the nutrition, as far as tips for the sleeping room, thermal comfort, acoustic comfort, plant life, biophilics. We didn't really get a chance to talk about that, but our connection to nature. As humans, we've had this connection with nature for millions of years. And to have a connection in the home with nature, having plant life in the home. Plants are able to filter the air better than manufactured products. So having a combination really gives you a connection with the plant life, and also has the ability to clean your room better than just having one product as well. So I love having plant life in the house and having that connection. Looking at the green, our optic nerves in our eyes take a look, and we become our stress becomes reduced when we look at nature, when we go to the mountains. So if we have that connection in the house, it's going to help us to reduce the stress and just feel better in general as well.
I love it. I mean, you're speaking to the choir. I love it. Did you know the color of the year for 2022 from several different paint companies? They're all green. Because it's connection to nature and it's calming. And so, I mean, Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore.
I mean, who doesn't like?
Sorry.
Well, the timing couldn't be any better for that as well.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Thank you so much, Robert, for being here. How can people get a hold of you, or how can they connect with Kelliwell to learn more?
Yeah, it's really easy. You can find us. Kelliwell is spelled KELLIWELL.com is our website. You can find us on Instagram. I'm listed as Robert Frias Wellness. I do a lot of fun stuff out on Instagram as well. And the website's a great spot, and you have to grab us, and you'll start seeing a lot more social media coming from us also. Announcement of some great projects that we're working on. So we're really looking forward to 2022. We want to help as many people as we can. We want to help to educate as many folks as we can in the real estate industry, the build and development side. We're here to help.
Love it. Thank you so much. Happy New Year too.
Absolutely. Have a great New Year. Have a safe, healthy new year. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Bye.
All right. We'll see you.